All right, let's just dive straight in. Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking a really fascinating and honestly, maybe a little intimidating set of economic mechanics that are totally defining the year 2026. So let's start right here. Is your quote-unquote safe office job actually fragile? Which brings us to Section 1, decoding the efficiency tax, peeling back the corporate jargon. Now, to really wrap our heads around that 10% figure, we've got to stop listening to the PR spin and start looking at the actual accounting. The source text brings in this highly impartial mathematical perspective from an analyst named Brian. He's a CPA, and he notes, companies report profits through restructuring, but the math shows a hidden efficiency tax on your salary. That is a profound translation of corporate behavior right there. Think about it. When a company announces a restructuring, the market often applauds, right? The stock price might even tick up. But Brian, the CPA, is urging us to look at the ledger. The math actually reveals that these profits aren't necessarily coming from creating new value or inventing new products. They're being padded by a hidden tax. It's basically a fundamental accounting shift where the cost of human labor is just being erased right out of the expense column. So, what exactly is this efficiency tax anyway? Well, it's defined as the siphoning of wealth away from labor and into corporate algorithmic efficiency. And I want you to really visualize that word for a second. Siphoning. It implies a continuous mechanical extraction. The money that used to flow into your salary, your benefits, your retirement contributions, it's not just disappearing into thin air. No, it is being directly rerouted. It's literally being siphoned out of the labor pool and injected straight into the corporate bottom line through the implementation of these highly efficient algorithms. And just to highlight the sheer severity of this trend, the data shows this is hitting specific sectors incredibly hard right now. We're talking about tech and transportation, currently experiencing triple-digit job cuts. This isn't some slow leak. It is a dramatic structural change. In these industries, algorithms are actively stepping in to replace human roles. They're optimizing routes, writing code, managing logistics, and doing the whole shebang without a salary, without healthcare, and without time off. The bottom line gets padded, sure, but the human workforce in these sectors is shrinking by triple digits. This dynamic boils down to a direct head-to-head, white-collar labor versus corporate algorithms. The wealth is literally moving from the workers directly to the algorithms. It's a complete transfer of economic energy. The source analysis makes it crystal clear. This is not about technology acting as a helpful tool for the worker anymore. It's about technology acting as a replacement to capture the wealth for the corporation. Understanding this impartial zero-sum mechanic is absolutely crucial for grasping the reality of the 2026 labor market. Let's move on to Section 2, the automation trap, beyond the white-collar world. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, well, hey, I work with my hands, or I'm in healthcare, or manufacturing. Surely I'm insulated from an AI algorithm, right? Well, let this number sink in for a second. 143%. According to the source data, manufacturing layoffs have spiked by 143%. Boom! That completely shatters the illusion that physical, blue-collar sectors are somehow magically safe from the efficiency tax. The sheer scale of this issue is bleeding right out of the digital realm and directly onto the factory floor. So why exactly is that happening? It's because of what the source calls the chain reaction, where automation meets AI. See, for a long time, physical automation, think robotic arms on an assembly line, was totally separate from cognitive automation. But the trap is springing shut right now because those two forces have finally met. AI is basically providing the brains to the automated brawn. This creates a chain reaction that traps blue-collar workers just as effectively as white-collar workers. The siphon doesn't care if you use a keyboard or a welding torch. If an algorithmic system can do it more efficiently, the wealth is going to be transferred away from labor. Nobody, and I mean no sector, is immune here. Okay, Section 3. Taking defensive measures, protecting your personal labor market. The good news is, the source material doesn't just outline the siphon and leave us hanging. It actually provides pragmatic, actionable strategies to defend yourself against it. What's kind of counterintuitive about these defensive measures, especially coming from a CPA-grounded perspective, is that you cannot simply rely on cutting expenses. I mean, yes, when times get economically tough, human instinct is to hunker down and pinch pennies. But here's the thing, you cannot outsave a siphon that is actively trying to eliminate your primary source of revenue. It just doesn't work. To protect your family and your personal economics, you've got to go on the offensive. You must aggressively grow your income, and you absolutely must own assets. Assets are what the wealth is being siphoned into. If you only own your labor, you are unfortunately on the vulnerable side of the equation. Which brings us to a deeply provocative question that the source analysis leaves us with. Will you trust the math or the theater? The theater is the corporate PR. It's the reassuring press releases about restructuring and the comforting illusion that your job is completely safe from that 10% trend we talked about earlier. The math, however, is the undeniable data of wealth being siphoned from labor directly to algorithmic efficiency. The analysis we've covered today urges you to really look past the performance and study the ledger. Because understanding the math, that is the only real way to stay ahead of the siphon. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your eyes on the data, and as the source material elegantly signs off, have a very nice day.